The British after World War II were empire. USA put some missiles in Turkey. USSR put some missile in Cuba. USA. Hollywood, look everyone, we made another cool and realistic medieval movie. Historical costume experts. His Tinder picture, him in real life. First accidental rocket in space. First satellite in space. First man in space. First satellite on the moon. First man on the moon. First satellite on Venus. First cat in space. Winner of the space race. Countries who have fricked up parts of their history. Starter pack. Speaks a language. Located on Earth. Has dirt. Flag. Contains humans. Existed at one time. Hitler. You had a great army, Joseph, but my Wehrmacht is more advanced in every way. Red Army. How would you solve the icing problem? Modern historians. Ancient historians. The troop numbers were exactly 55,367 infantry and 3,000 cavalry. Now listen to the exact speech the general gave. Me arguing how it was unjustifiable to drop nukes on Japan. After learning how Japan world fought a ground war. American settlers wanna join our war. France, hell no. Americans, it's against the British. France, there is no call we do not answer. There is no faith that we betrayed. Alexander the Great, when the entire might of Persia defies him. Alexander the Great when one of his men gets drunk and slightly criticizes him. Romans when they land on Ireland to finally conquer it, but sees a guy frick a horse while getting his nipples sucked by another guy. Pyramids are everywhere because aliens built them. Pyramids are everywhere because ancient civilizations had Tesla-like energy. Pyramids are everywhere because they are basic freaking geometry. Warhammers in fiction. Warhammers in reality. I just want to remind everyone that, while boob armor is in no way historical, dick armor most certainly is. Make a song to increase moral and discipline. Make a song about courage and resistance. Make a song to glorify their leader. Make a song calling the British gay. 380 million years ago. I must keep on evolving. Present day. Frick. 445 million years ago. I think I'm already perfect. Present day. Still perfect. Can't believe everyone is raving about Stalin looking hot as a young man when this picture of Theodore Roosevelt exists. Me trying to make a meme about the southern states that doesn't involve slavery or racism. Instagram filters and editing apps are misleading today's generation of young people. Young people 3,000 years ago. States' rights to do what? The South fought for states' rights. Scientific and technological progress in human history. The thing Henry Ford is famous for. The other thing Henry Ford is famous for. Americans leaving Vietnam after accepting that Vietnam isn't going to be capitalist after committing numerous atrocities trying to force them to be. Americans coming back to find a population more pro-capitalism and about as pro-America as Americans. I killed a man and you. I was the first one to stop clapping after Stalin's speech. Dude, what the frick? When you're trying to impress a girl by naming every clown during Shinjuku Day, but then some other guy comes around and spits out the name of every state in HRE. Defeated male leaves. Cats in Middle Ages. Hardworking. Went to church. Walked on hind legs. Contributed to society. Cats now. Lazy and ungrateful. Atheists. Too lazy to walk on hind legs. USS Wisconsin gets hit with a 155mm artillery shell causing no damage. Also the USS Wisconsin. I want every gun we have to fire upon that artillery placement. Genghis Khan wore cool robes and rode horses into battle. He also raped and killed nearly 40 million people. Ganned his experiment with truth. Ganned his experiment with his grandniece. Le Pol Pot kills off anyone who was an intellectual of a religious background, spoke French or wore glasses. Then also Pol Pot has a Buddhist background, was an intellectual, spoke French and wore glasses. People who don't know how Morty dies in Maori mythology. People who do. Mao Zedong carefully making the dumbest freaking decisions to disrupt the ecosystem and cause a famine that will kill millions. Native American tribe. Native American tribes. Fur traders selling both sides guns. Maybe Caesar was not the good guy in his story. Basically a Roman mafia boss. Formed a triumvirate with 2 other mafia bosses. Extremely corrupt politician himself. Plundered Gaul to pay off his debts. Staged a military coup against the Roman Republic. Made himself dictator for life. Me after joining History Memes. Because I found some funny memes. Me now, after learning about all the atrocities humanity has committed. Vikings running into Muslims in island of Sicily. You shouldn't be here. Neither should you. No, you can't listen to German marches. They are made by Nazis and say bad things. Ah yes, this flower reminds me of my girlfriend. Constructing a plan to invade France 9 years in advance. Strategically planning an offensive, but losing 57,000 men on the first day. Equipping soldiers so poorly that their guns don't match their ammunition. Marching straight into Serbia's artillery training field. Odysseus. Now that the war is over, we set out on the Odyssey. His men. What's an Odyssey? Odysseus. A long series of adventures named after the only survivor. His men. Come again nigga. 300 Greeks losing at Thermopylae. Historians. 200 Indians winning against 6,000 Pakistanis and 40 tanks at Lonjuala. 21 Sikhs winning against 10,000 Afghans at Saragahi. Literally the entire Middle East. You think you can just steal from us and walk away? America. Yeah. We need to judge historical figures objectively, and Genghis Khan was objectively bad. Oh my god, why just Alexander the Great? He should be remembered as Alexander the Perfect. The enemy of Russian Empress Catherine II, who said that Catherine had died while having SOS with a horse, when people believed it and told it forward. When read too much about mythology and start seeing too much similarities between groups of people that theoretically never interacted. Being called nerd in any other subreddit. Being called nerd in this subreddit. The USSR when it accidentally created the best-selling video game on the world capitalist market. What if we vaccinated 2 million children in just a week? Haha, just kidding. Unless. Fair is according to folklore everywhere else except Sweden. I will give you good fortune and make sure your crops are green in spring. Fair is according to Swedish folklore. I will eat your face, steal your wife, rape your dog, and then pee in your bed. Tibet about to be annexed by the Chinese. El Salvador going to the UN and demanding a debate on China's actions in Tibet. Average Praetorian Guard fan. Average Varangian Guard enjoyer. Odin, we need to stop that giant from building a wall around Asgard. Loki, I'll distract him by turning into a horse and then having sex with his horse. Odin, you don't have to do that. Loki. So now the Gauls are trapped inside Elysia, but they have like 250,000 reinforcement coming. So what does Caesar do? You're not gonna believe this. He builds a second freaking wall. America, we have finally won the Civil War. Hundreds of thousands are dead. Our government is deeply in debt. The South is in ruins. And the president has been assassinated. Mexico, please help us. France is trying. Make us their puppet. America, let's get this bread. America on their way to liberate a third world country from a democratically elected socialist leader. Axis soldiers captured by the Soviet Union. Axis soldiers captured by the US. When news of the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor reached Churchill, he immediately realized what that meant. The United States would now have to take up arms. In his own words, written in a history of World War II, Churchill said he went to bed and slept the sleep of the saved that night. Nobody. Winston Churchill the night after Pearl Harbor. No, you can't keep a pet in the military camp. Okay. Congratulations, Private. You earned yourself a promotion. Raw eats cigarettes. Those who know the original symbol meaning. Those who don't know. Virgin World War First Treaty. Lol, let's make the treaty start on the 11th day of the 11th month on the 11th hour. Book thousands of soldiers are going to die during that time. Chat 335-year war treaty. Lol, turns out we might have been at war for 300 years. Mayo, let's sign a treaty, just because it's freaking funny as. German engineers designing their tanks armor and armament. German engineers designing their tanks fuel consumption and transmission. When your girl gets pregnant from the Lord, but when your child is born, 3 dudes that you've never seen show up with gifts for the baby. Random person in America, the USSR wasn't that bad. Czechs, Slovaks, Poles, East Germans, Hungarians, any person from a former Yugoslav state besides Serbia, Albanians, Bulgarians, Romanians, Ukrainians, Belarusians, Lithuanians, Latvians, and Estonians. Amazing. Every word of what you just said was wrong. Leonardo da Vinci, Nikola Tesla, being limited by the technology of their time. Europeans after Genghis Khan decimates their armies, after faking a retreat for the 1000th time. He can't keep getting away with it. When you find out that the Kaiser, Tsar and King called each other Willie, Nicky and Georgie. Australian police when the outlaw gang leader they cornered in a hotel in the bush walks out in full plate armor with 3 guns. Huh. Romans, who is Spartacus? Every slave in a mile radius. Ooh, he might be me. Historians analyzing the dried flakes in someone's fossilized shit to figure out what people ate 4 million years ago. Historians analyzing the intimate letters someone wrote to their same-sex friend in the 1800s. Having song about your soldiers being better than heroes of antique. Having song about flower named Erica. Having song about fried onion being so good. What Napoleon was expecting while invading Russia. What he found. Going back in time to kill baby Adolf Hitler. Going back in time to kill baby Gavrilo Princip. Oh, the history of Germany can't be that big, just to say we lost a lot. You have been invited to join a fun youth club for boys. It's Germany 1937. Is it just me, or does Nero look like an internet troll? This is definitely the most bizarre question I have ever seen on a job application. You have been given an elephant. You can't give it away or sell it. What would you do with the elephant? Red Baron. I want my plane red, so the enemies fear me. The allied anti-aircraft gunners on the ground, who have a clear shot. Random Roman soldier, after killing 10,000 Jews with his bare ass. Post-Soviet collapse be like Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, etc. Poland, Czech hands, the Balkans. What you got there? A carrot. Pablo Escobar had the largest and most extensive drug empire ever, the British East India Company. Romans in the 1st 3rd century. Romans in the 4th century onwards. Jesus Christ is my nigga. You admit defeat in the American Revolution. Because George Washington will go mad with power, become a dictator, and then they'll beg to have you back. George Washington willingly gives up power. George Washington willingly gives up power. Julius Caesar, get kidnapped by pirates. Pirates, demand ransom. Caesar, demands the ransom be higher, because he was insulted by how low it was. Pirates, confused stance. Germany could have won the war. They had superior technology and military. If they hadn't invaded Russia they'd be fine. Hitler wasn't that bad. Spanish Inquisition, how people think it was. We will brutally torture you, because you are against the church. How it really was. Your sentence for heresy is paying a fine. If don't pay it you'll be arrested. Just pay it, and you'll be good. The toilet was a damaged toilet, which was going to be thrown overboard. One of our plane captains rescued it, and the ordnance crew made a rack, tail fins and nose fuse for it. Our checkers maintained a position to block the view of the air boss and the captain, while the aircraft was taxiing forward. Just as it was being shot off we got a 1MC message from the bridge. What the hell was on 572's right wing? Online intellectuals on their way to type history is written by the victors and contribute absolutely freaking nothing to the discussion. Boston Christmas tree. Those who do not know, waste of taxpayer money. Those who know, thank you friend. United States Armed Forces in Korea, we sporadically get attacked by small groups of these shitty ass biplanes in the dead of the night. They don't do any damage, it's just we keep getting woken up, and I mean it's not that big of a prop. US Air Force, bomb every patch of flat grassland in North Korea. Japanese ships, staggered lines. Admiral, they outnumber us 30:1, then it is an even fight. Destroy Iran's democracy, complain about it not being democratic, put sanctions on it because of their nuclear program, even though they withdrew from it, blame Islam for it not being democratic. Manahim knows that Hitler hates smoking, also Manahim while talking to Hitler. When you're a hairy man living in the 1600s and a wolf has killed 2 people during the full moon, the townsfolk. Civil War soldier, my leg feels sore. Civil War medic. How Germany paid for their war crimes. How Japan paid for their war crimes. With her, his wife died. My last warm feelings for humanity. Stalin. Sultan Abdul Messed sending £5,000 worth of aid to Ireland during the famine. Queen Victoria not letting the aid go to Ireland because she only donated £2,000 herself. How would you change history if you could time travel? Me. Okay, I don't have much time, but I just wanted to say there will be a disco record written about you 60 years after your death, and it will slap so freaking hard. China, stand down Filipinos, you're outnumbered. Philippines, shoot your goofy ass up. China, haha, alright Philippines. Korean War. Battle of Yalta. 900 Filipinos versus Chinese troops. Caesar, Brutus. You are like a son to me. Brutus. So anyway, I started stabbing. Olga of Kiev comes to your city to avenge her husband. Panic. All she wants is 3 pigeons and 3 sparrows from each house. Calm. The birds return with the cloth on fire, burning city to the ground. Panic. When you're trying to fast for 40 days and 40 nights, but Satan won't leave you alone. Pof, you're a citizen in 1920s Germany seeing if you have enough for a loaf of bread. 19th century factory owners, after their workers say they can't feed their families working 15 hours a day, 7 days a week, for $1 a week. The fat controller laughed, "You are wrong." The American soldier retreats. He comes back with more grenades and ammunition. When your film is over 70 years old and still features the best depiction of late medieval armor in film, signature look of armored superiority. Richard Lawrence tries to assassinate Jackson, but both his pistols misfire. Andrew Jackson with his cane. You picked the wrong house, fool. When you get kidnapped, dragged to Ireland as a slave, escape, and then go back to peacefully convert the entire country to Christianity, but all anyone ever talks about is snakes. Snakes? I don't know no snakes. Teenagers in 1914 getting ready to lie about their age so they can fight in World War I and freaking die. Sherman bringing the Civil War to an end sooner by disrupting Confederate infrastructure. The Confederates watching Sherman conduct a scorched earth policy across Georgia. Germans when making cars and beer. Germans when making fairy tales. Poland and Lithuania looking at each other, fighting again together against Russians. After all this time. Always. Geneva Convention, killing medics is a war crime. Japanese. And I took that personally. Scientists, there's oil on the ocean floor. America. Arrives at battle outnumbered. Drives ships straight through enemy's line. Wins battle without losing a single ship, dies. Refuses to elaborate. So you have B-29s dropping in incendiaries for months, and the Navy shelling the island non-stop for days. The Marines should take an island as small as Iwo Jima in a week, right? Wrong. The British during D-Day. America shoring D-Day. Hollywood. Canadians during D-Day. America didn't contribute much to World War II. Cause they had fewer casualties. Me, trying to think of a logistically possible way to transport enough of our 132 million people across 2 oceans so that we could have 27 million casualties to match the Soviets. Men who validate their masculinity by being mean and hurting people. Men who validate their masculinity by helping others and being kind and supportive. Men who validate their masculinity by forming a 256 men Macedonian phalanx. The priest who saved Hitler from drowning as a kid, seeing a 700k kill assist on his screen. Wait a freaking frig. 11 years old on the internet reading about the Biford dolphin drilling rig accident in 1983. A worker was exposed to the highest pressure gradient and violently exploded due to the rapid and massive expansion of internal gases. Marvel, Infinity War is the most ambitious crossover event in history. Greco-Buddhist art depicting Heracles as a protector of Buddha, trying to return art to its original tribe, noticing they don't exist anymore. Saying literally the darkest shit about other countries. Any meme gets made about my country. No, you can't invite Polish diplomats to our meetings. Poland doesn't exist anymore, we partitioned it. Where is the deputy from Lehiston? Those who don't learn history are doomed to repeat it. Yet those who do study history are doomed to watch helplessly as others repeat it. Your great-great-grandfather and his boys, on the way to burn down a textile factory in order to get a 40-hour workweek and overtime pay. When the 20th century rolls around, and the United States builds a powerful navy, pursues imperialist ambitions, and maintains military presence across the globe, my son. When you're basically the same as Genghis Khan, but you're European, so your war crimes are heroic. Polish soldiers bring a brown bear cub with them to Alexandria port. British officials, sorry, we don't let any animals on board of our ship. No exceptions. Polish enlist the bear as an official private into their division and demand transport. Listen here, you little sheet. Japan, when another invading Mongol fleet gets decimated by a typhoon. It's even funnier the second time. The Aztec high priest trying to stop the cannonball flying right towards him after sacrificing 20 people to Tolstoy. I can't believe he didn't cry during Titanic. Do men even have feelings? The city has fallen, and I'm still alive. Last words of Constantine XI, before charging the Ottomans. Every Japanese man, woman, and child shall die for the emperor. When the allies arrive, we will resist the allies with spears and rocks. We will surrender on the condition we keep Korea, Taiwan and the emperor. How could the allies drop nuclear weapons on us? You find out the beloved patriots of your country you learned about in school and practically worshipped were actually brutal freaking war criminals in other countries. Father, tell me you didn't do this. When you were the big baddie of Europe for over a millennia, but now you're just known as the country who got bent over by the Nazis. Loser. When your girlfriend compliments you for lasting as long in bed as the Anglo-Zanzibar War. US systematically exterminating thousands of indigenous cultures. US after the Civil War, not bothering to stomp out the one culture they should have. Bob Dylan looking for a word to rhyme with trigger while writing The Hurricane. When you've won so many battles that your enemies have learned all your art of war. Nikita Khrushchev, the difference between the Soviet Union and China is that I rose to power from the peasant class, whereas you came from the privileged Mandarin class. Zal, true. But there is this similarity. Each of us is a traitor to his class. Do you want to go to the museum with me? No, only kids do stuff like that. Do you want to go to the museum with me? Yes, can we look at the Byzantine liturgical objects? The British when they see a random rock owned by a third world country. Demons in Japan before. Demons in Japan now. When in its 50s and your neighbor starts talking about workers' rights, FBI. Austria after every world war. That wasn't me, that was Germany. You had paintings and sculptures made in your image to preserve a legacy showing you as incredibly attractive, but then some dickhead scientists recreate it using your skull and a court scan. Ancient Egyptians, when they die knowing they were a terrible person. Holy frick, there's a dog. Cheat. The Royal Navy explaining how, although they are prohibited from owning/building facilities on land, having a patch of coastline, and declaring it as a commissioned warship gives them the right to station sailors there. The Imperial Japanese Navy. The US Enterprise. Pablo Picasso used to carry a gun filled with blanks that he would shoot at people who asked him about the meaning of his paintings. Barges into art world. Creates interesting new art. refuses to elaborate further, shoots blanks at you if you ask the meaning of his art. Takeda Katsuiori, how can infantry stand against my cavalry's charge? Oda Nobunaga, the answer is a gun. And if that don't work, use more gun. The Swedish to any country, whenever they find out they don't like the Danish, how's my favorite ally doing? 212 see Second Punic War. We have spent years in Italy, we crossed the Alps, we have won countless battles, we eliminated 80,000 enemies in Cannae and they are still coming back. Hey Hannibal, we raised another army, ready for round 17. World War I field marshals, when they find out their soldiers are greeting each other and not killing each other on Christmas.
If you liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe for your daily dose of memes. Also, be sure to watch previous MemePog episodes. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you back tomorrow.